Okay, so now that we're able to create our gems falling down, we need to make it so that we can add new gems in to our board. So I'm going to stop this running here and let's go back into our board script, and we're going to add a new coroutine for this. We're going to have a private IEnumerator called fill board co, like so. And then we're going to have another function here, a private void refill board, like so, like so. There we go. And this is what we're going to use to actually refill the board, but our fill board coroutine is going to handle us being able to refill the board and then wait and then check for new matches when the gems all fall down and things like that, because it's really fun to have new gems fall into place and then create matches straight away and create this kind of cascading kind of effect of extra matches happening. It's one of the most fun things about match tree kind of games, I always find. So what we're going to do is, first thing we'll do in our fill board coroutine, so we wait, the rows have been spawned in, so we're going to wait for them to fall. Sorry, they haven't been spawned in. The rows fall down into position, so we're going to wait for them to get into position. So I'm going to say here, yield return new wait for seconds, and it's going to wait for just half a second. And we also make sure that this function gets called, so at the end of our decrease row we're going to then say start coroutine fill board co. So then we wait half a second and then we tell it to call the refill board function, and we're going to fill that in a moment. And that's going to spawn in new gems and then they'll drop into position. Well, actually we'll spawn them in at their standard position for the moment and we'll make them move in. But that'll spawn in some new gems. Then we're going to tell it to actually no, we'll just do the spawning in the new gems and then we'll tell it to do a couple of extra things afterwards. So with our refill board is going to be pretty simple. All we're going to do is we're going to do our little XY for loops again. So I'm going to copy those and paste them in down here, and then what we're going to do in the middle is just say, hey, we want to pick a new gem to spawn. We're going to say int gem to use is equal to random.range between 0 and gems.length. So that'll pick our random gem, and we're not really worried about this causing extra matches because it's actually beneficial for us to cause extra matches. So we don't want to do a check to make no more matches happen here, because it's good for the player for matches to instantly happen when new gems come in. So now that we've picked the gem, we're just going to say spawn that gem at new vector2 int x and y, and then we need to tell it which gem to spawn. So from our gems list, look at the gem to use. And that's it. That's it for refilling the board. Let's go back in and see this in action. So I'm going to hit play here. If I destroy that, we pop in and oh, well, the whole board refilled, and that's a little error that we're going to fix in a few moments. I didn't expect that to happen so quickly. It didn't always happen in my testing. Okay. Well, we're going to fix this error in a moment, so that's okay. But that shouldn't be happening at all. If we swap that. Okay, I realized what the problem was. I was being a little bit overzealous with what I was doing here, and I left out one critically important aspect of refilling our gems, which is, if we go back to our script, when we're refilling the board, we only want to fill in the slots that are empty. We don't want to, I just realized we're putting it at every X and Y position. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is, before we spawn anything in, we just do a check to see if all gems at position X and Y is null. So a very simple little check. We've been doing lots of null checks as we've been going, and this is one of the most important ones to see, hey, is there nothing in the space that we want to put our gems into? Okay, so let's go back in here, and this time we'll run it, and it should run perfectly fine. So if I go ahead and play here, let's see, where's a match? We'll move that one down, and there we go. Now we're getting them spawn in the correct places up above, but we don't have our nice cascading effect happen because when we move that gem down there, or this one fell down, and this green one, or these three green ones should have now had a match. But of course, we don't have anything to detect matches at the moment. Well, we do have the system to detect matches, but we've nothing telling it to destroy anything. Because all that happens is, at the moment, we know that in our gem, when we detect a match, then we destroy the match. And then that goes to the board. And let's just step through the process of what happens. We destroy the matches, so it goes, okay, find the empty ones, and then it'll destroy them. Or sorry, find the matched ones, and it'll destroy them using this function here. Then it'll go to the coroutine to decrease the rows, that's perfectly fine. Then it'll go to the fill board coroutine, which will refill the board, and then that's it. That's the end of the point. So from that point on, yes, we're continually checking if there is matches, but that's of no use to us right now because the board has been refilled, and that's basically the end of the line. So what we want to add in at this point in our fill board co is right after we refill the board, we're going to wait another half a second. So we're going to say, okay, we just filled in the board, so we're going to let them be in position. So yield return new, wait for seconds, 0.5 of a second. We can make that longer if we want to do, but 0.5 will do for now. Then we're going to tell the match finder to find any more matches. So match find dot find all matches. And then we're going to do a check and see if the match finder, if match find dot current matches dot count is greater than 0. So if there's any matches on the board at the moment, well then, hey, we need to start the destroying matches mechanism all over again. So we're going to tell it to wait a second or two. So we're going to say yield return new, wait for seconds, and I'm going to tell it to wait for 1.5 seconds. So wait 1.5 seconds and then start destroying matches again. So destroy more matches, and that'll start the process again of it'll destroy them, make them drop down, and make them spawn in new ones, and then it'll do another check, and then it'll try and destroy all those. And then here we're going to say well, actually, we're going to add some stuff in here a little bit later to deal with if there's no more matches. We want to make some changes to how score is calculated and stuff like that. But for now, we're just going to leave it as it is. So then if we jump back into Unity, we should see now, if we start creating matches, let's see, where have we got one? Got one here. When it pops in, see if we can get some to automatically occur. We haven't got any just yet. We will eventually. The longer you do it, they do pop up. Okay, so there we go. So those appeared, and then they matched up. You can see they're just destroying some here. It's taking a second or two. Now this gap, it seems like a bit of a wait for us, but we will set up the system that will make all the gems slide into position in a few moments, and that will fill up that time that's we're waiting for them to be registered. But perfect, our system is now working correctly. We're able to have this basically on repeat and spawning new gems. There we go, that one will go, that one will go. And it makes it feel a lot more fun to have these systems repeatedly going over and over again.